The bow. One of the very first items you craft to defend your primitive self. How do I use it? You draw your arrow back and you shoot. So simple. But is it?
I killed both. I got P2 here.
At the start of 2019, I made an in-depth tutorial on how to use the AK in Rust. However, that's not the be-all and end-all of this game. Not everyone just skips straight to the best weapons. It all comes in steps. Being proficient with primitive weapons will help you progress into endgame that much easier. In this video, I'll be teaching you how to use every single primitive weapon to its fullest potential. By the end of the video, you'll see that it's more complex and deadly than you think.
I have no idea, guys. Oh, sus. Oh! 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 Oh, come on, man. I was just having fun, dude.
Bow fights are all about reading your enemy's movements and being unpredictable yourself. Having a lot of techniques in your arsenal that you can use anytime will help you hit more shots, all the while getting hit less yourself. Every HP matters when you're primitive, since you probably don't have syringes to quickly heal. The shoot and jump. You shoot, then dodge incoming arrows by jumping right after. Right click to aim, left click to shoot, then spacebar to jump. The jump shot. You aim, then jump, and then shoot. The timing is crucial here, since if you're too slow or too fast, your arrow will get blue balled. Briefly right click to aim, spacebar to jump, and then left click to shoot. You might become an easy target if you jump the same way each time. You can strafe or hover mid-air while jump-bowing by right clicking to aim, jumping to one side, then mid-air changing directions back to where you jumped from and then shooting. There's a huge delay between when you jump up to something and when you can shoot your arrow. You can make this much faster by jump bowing up to the high ground. You right click to aim, jump up to the platform, and then you can either shoot right away or wait for your aim to adjust and then shoot. Like I said before, you have to try your hardest not to get hit as well. A good way to do that is to use little peeks by jump bowing behind cover with only your head showing when you shoot. So the amount of vision you get is different depending on whether or not you're crouching or standing while doing this. While it may look like you're showing less of your body if you crouch, from the other person's view it looks the same, so it's best to just stand while jump bowing so you have better vision over the enemy. If you know exactly where the enemy is, you can hold your right click a little bit longer and then jump bow to shoot almost immediately after you jump. I'm sure if you've ever tried chasing someone with a bow before, it's painfully slow. The crossbow does a better job at this, but you can actually run while shooting the hunting bow as well. You can do this by right clicking to aim briefly, and once you hear the sound of your bow loading, you let go of right click, start sprinting, and after a few strides you right click to aim again and then shoot. The timing has to be even more precise than the jump shot here. It takes a lot of practice, but as you can see, you can chase someone down much faster by doing it this way. You can also use the same technique for when you want to stray from side to side, but at a faster pace. The enemy will be surprised and won't expect a sudden burst of speed. You can do the jump shot, but the enemy might be used to your pattern already. They'll expect you to shoot the arrow mid-air, but you can delay your shot and shoot after you land. It doesn't work all the time. Sometimes it won't do the full animation. I found that it works more reliably when you're going uphill and holding the right click in the beginning a shorter time than usual. You won't know exactly where the middle of your screen is all the time, which makes all these shots really difficult to land. You can either shoot normally or the delay shot first and really focus on where the middle of the screen is. Then, your next jump shot or running shot will be much easier to land. Most of the time, you won't use any of these techniques from a long distance or use it all the time. It's simply something you do to throw your enemy off and make your pattern unpredictable. You want to utilize these techniques occasionally in between your normal shots. You can actually even combo all of these techniques together, such as doing the running shot plus jump shot combo. There's one annoying glitch about the bow that you need to know. Whenever you shoot your first shot on the bow, the delay between the first shot and the second shot is super long for some reason. Whenever you first craft a bow, just shoot an arrow into the ground so that you won't get this glitch when you fight someone. The glitch seems to reappear again if you throw your bow on the ground and pick it up, or move it out of your hotbar and back in. To truly understand how effective these techniques can be, I'll be showing them all again, but from the other perspective. You can see how unpredictable your movements can be and how much harder it is to hit them. Alright, moving on to the crossbow. It isn't as complex as the hunting bow, however, but it is a great weapon to have when you're behind cover or in rocky terrain where you can easily hide after shots. It has more damage and you can attach scopes or even a flashlight on it. You can run while you reload this, so it's probably the best tool to have to farm barrels or to chase someone running. The reload time is super long compared to the hunting bow, so if I'm outnumbered and I don't have any cover, I like to use the hunting bow instead. There isn't that many cool techniques you can have with the crossbow, but you can do the shoot and jump trick. You can easily outplay someone more geared than you by peeking with only your head behind terrain as cover. Let's move on to the next type of bow, the compound bow. It works almost identical to the hunting bow, but it has an extra function. If you stay completely still, you can charge up the bow to do massive damage to your target. More damage, more velocity. You can one-shot headshot hazmat suits, wooden helmet, bucket helmet, pretty much everything worse than coffee can helmets you can one-shot. It does an insane amount of damage even if you hit someone in the body. Every single armor in the game will get 2-shot in the body except heavy armor. Even coffee can helmets, if you headshot them, they're gonna be left with 3 HP and bleed out if they don't heal themselves. This weapon is great for sniping people from afar while remaining hidden yourself. It's also great for hiding in bushes or holding angles. Great for solo play, and when you're in the bush, you can use the little holes to know where the enemy is, all the while being camouflaged. I would say HV arrows are great for this, and it makes this thing almost a laser beam. It's even effective 300 meters away, and if we were able to climb trees, we'd see a lot more master bow snipers in the game. Now that we have all the bows out of the way, I want to go over the different types of arrows available. Each one has its use, and it's up to you which one is right for you. Bone arrows. It does significantly less damage, but is way more lenient on when it comes to the hitbox. Basically, it's kind of like aim assist. Even when you shoot around their body and not on the body, it will hit them. If you're someone that struggles with aim, you might want to use this. There's no shame in using the bone arrows. Reduced damage is better than no damage. Next up is fire arrows. This does more damage than regular arrows and creates a fireball after the shot. The fire can burn your enemies and slow them down. The only downside is, it's harder to see and you need to learn fire arrows before you can craft them. With the fire arrows, the hit marker sound is a little bit different. If you miss your target and only the fire damages them, you still get a hit marker. If you get 2 hit marker sounds, that means you actually did hit the target. Fire arrows can be a cheap way to burn cupboards or wooden buildings down. Next up, the high velocity arrows. It does less damage, but it has way more velocity, and that means the arrow is faster and has less drop. Good for long range shots and really great for the compound bow. I wouldn't use this on the hunting or crossbow though. So next up is secondary weapons. This is what really brings it to the next level and allows you to compete with actual guns. I'd say the top 2 secondary weapons to use are the nail gun and the revolver. You first shoot someone with a bow or a crossbow and quickly switch to the secondary and finish the job. The speed in which you kill someone is even comparable to the AK at times. You might think, is a revolver actually primitive? It's technically a pistol, but it is a tier 1 blueprint and relatively easy to get. I think the problem most people run into is that they try to spam it. The pistol is much better to single fire instead of trying to unload the whole clip onto someone from far away. The nail gun is probably my favorite primitive weapon there is. It's criminally underrated and has 16 nails in the clip. It has high recoil and the velocity is very low, however, so you have to pull down your mouse a lot and actually lead your shots. What makes the secondary weapons good is that it has a high draw speed. When you swap to the nail gun or revolver, you can shoot it almost right away. The pull-out animation for the pipe, for example, is way longer and isn't that great for a secondary. You can use the nail gun from pretty far away. The only issue is you have to lead your shots a lot, and that can be difficult since you have restricted vision with the iron sight. Another underrated combo is a pipe and a nail gun. You pipe someone, and if they survive with low HP, you finish them off with nails. Melee is pretty bad in this game, but the salvage swords can one-shot nakeds and is fast, and salvage cleavers can one-shot headshot a rat suit. Ironically though, the jackhammer is the best melee weapon in the game. The spear is pretty bad as well, but it could be good if you literally have nothing else. You can pick up the spears that you throw almost immediately, so after you throw it at someone, spam your E button to get it back and then throw it again. Next up is the shotguns. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's a shotgun, you point and you click. However, the incendiary shells could be very useful. The heavy armor is probably the best armor in the game that can tank dozens of rifle shots, but you can kill them with one shot using an EVGA if you use the incendiary fire shells. It's also useful for taking out cupboards and wooden buildings. The compound bow and double barrel combo is really good for taking the oil rig primitively. Take care of the visible scientists from afar with the compound bow and use the double barrel to one-shot the scientists when they push you. There's a lot of sway when it comes to every weapon, and especially with the compound bow. It's probably not worth your 40 scrap, but if you do buy a tactical glove from Outpost and wear it, it removes the sway and you can aim better. So now you know how to use all the weapons, but there's another thing you need to know. Movement is crucial in primitive fights. Unlike other games like CSGO, shooting while moving doesn't make you lose accuracy in this game. You can do some insane strafing movements with your WASD keys, and even make your character dodge arrows by moving your head with your mouse. It's important to be unpredictable. Using cover, jumping occasionally, crouching, moving your head away with your mouse helps you dodge incoming arrows. Here's an example from an enemy's perspective. One way of fighting is super easy to kill, while the other is harder to hit. If you don't have any cover, you can create your own easily. A good deployable to learn is a stone barricade, which is only 100 stone to make, and you don't need a workbench, so you can make it on the fly. When using them, make your character look at the ground to make yourself even shorter to avoid headshots. This barricade is especially useful when using it on hills, since the angle makes it hide more of your body. With just a few hundred wood and a building plan, you can actually make some neat cover on the fly as well. One is a triangle foundation with a doorway. If you're quick enough, you can jump first and go straight through the doorway behind cover. Twig walls have holes in them, so you can also make this kind of cover and hide behind them and check for your enemy's position. Remember though, twig breaks easily and doesn't protect against bullets. A really great way to heal in primitive fights is to use mushrooms. They're easy to find and you can have 10 of them in a stack. They heal you instantly for 3 HP. The great thing about them is that you can use them by having them in your hotbar and using your 1-2-6 key. You can keep eating them while you fight, shoot, reload, or even use bandages. 10 mushrooms can be eaten pretty quickly, and that's 30 more HP that you wouldn't have had otherwise. Mushrooms are great for endgame fights as well. In times when you're bleeding out and you don't have a lot of time to pop a syringe, you'll survive by eating 1 mushroom. You can also use water if you're below 40 HP to heal while using bandages. That's it. This video took a lot of time to compile and to make, so hopefully this was helpful information to you. My goal is to help out all the new people trying out Rust lately, along with already experienced players with all the tips and knowledge that I've gathered over the years. If you liked it and want more tutorials on top of my regular survival videos, make sure to let me know by liking the video. I stream over on twitch.tv hJune almost daily as well, and that's where you get to see everything that gets uploaded here live. The support and love lately on YouTube and on Twitch has been incredible, so thank you guys. Every follow, donation, subs, and even just kind comments help me a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.